Good morning, everyone. Welcome to July's Community Cafe. We'll give everybody just another minute to get in and get settled, and we will get started. Thank y'all for being here. All right, again, good morning. I am Amber Matthews. I'm the Community Engagement Training Manager, and welcome again to July's Community Cafe. This morning, we are going to be talking about a variety of different projects that our community collaboratives do. Partners hosts a community collaborative in all 15 of the counties that we serve. The community collaboratives is made up of community-based organizations, families, service providers, healthcare providers, public agencies, advocates, and realistically, whoever else wants to come be a part of these discussions. They're really focused on identifying and solving challenges and problems within the community directly related to mental health and substance use. Each collaborative has a community engagement specialist who represents partners and also kind of make sure the community collaborative is moving forward and ensuring some of the things that are positive and impacting the community in positive ways. So I'm going to give just a heads up to Michaela. We're going to start with her. Michaela is the public health director in Stanley County, and she's going to talk a little bit about some things that are going on with their community collaborative. Michaela, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. It's good to see you all. I am a health educator with Stanley County Health Department, and I'm one of the leads for the collaborative. So I want to touch on just three projects that we have done and used the funding for. We're a little bit of a smaller county, so I'm going to quickly go through those. So the first kind of project that the funding has been used for is a diaper depot. So we have our Stanley County partnership for children who serve from birth to 5 years old, and they support childhood development. One of the things that is a need in the county is diapers. Some of the funding that they do receive has to go towards other things, and one of their needs was getting these diapers to these parents in need. So this funding was used for their diaper depot, and they serve around 300 to 400 families each quarter. And so we use those funds to buy a variety of sizes for the diapers, and they also do different, they take donations and do different diaper bank drop-ins to make sure they have those diapers for those families. So that's one of the projects that the funding has been used for. The second one that I'll talk briefly about is through NC Cooperative Extension. They have their family and consumer science agent, Haley. She's a busy lady. She's all over the county doing different things. So one of the things that the funding went towards was community programming, specifically with nutrition and based in our Mediterranean diet, because we know that's one of the best diets for people to follow. So the programming that she has been doing is a lot of cooking classes, displays, and it's taking place at a variety of places in the county. So that includes our senior center, the library, food pantries, and also at farmers markets. So it's a way to get people interacting with having to cook healthy meals, what that looks like. It's one thing to tell people to eat healthy, but you have to have the skills in order to know how to do it. So Haley has been doing serving hundreds of people through her programming. So that's one of the other projects that the funds have went towards. And the last one is through our Minority Health Council, which is under our Stanley County Health Department. The council is composed of volunteers from the county. So these are just people who are dedicated to minority health and looking at different health disparities that are experienced in the county. One of those disparities is chronic kidney disease. So our Black residents are 3 times more likely to die from chronic kidney disease than our white residents. Our Minority Health Council saw that and decided, hey, how can we address this in our community? So the American Kidney Fund, they have a kidney health coach training. It's like a 3 hour training that teaches you the risk factors, what you can do to prevent chronic kidney disease, and it's so that you can get the information and then spread it to others in the community. So the funds were used to host a lunch and learn event in the county. So we had a trainer, and our council members were there as well, who were trained in training from the American Kidney Fund to provide that information. And so those funds were used to support the event, to provide a healthy meal and all the needed materials in order to host that lunch and learn. So yes, we are very grateful for the funds that come into our community. As you can see, it has a wide reach and a different variety of topics as well to support our community. But yeah, happy about that.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of great work. Thank you, Michaela. Does anyone have any questions for Michaela or any questions specifically about the work that's happening in Stanley County? All right. You are also welcome to use the chat for your voice as well, and we can read those questions out too. Now we're going to move to Gary Marshall. Gary is a community engagement specialist here at Partners, and he's going to talk to you all about some suicide awareness conversations that happen within the community. Gary?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I represent both Davie and Forsyth counties, and both of them have had suicide conversations. What I wanted to speak to today is Davie. In both of my counties, we do not receive any collaborative funds, county funds, anything like that. And so, in my 3 years working with them now, what we've learned is when you don't have money for promotion or buying stuff like that, you either have to partner with the people who are available or partner with the resources that are available. And in Dade County, we had a couple of smaller conversations that did not attract very many people, very small participation, still really good conversations, but they were not very large. And so, in partnering with the people in Davie, we went to the senior center, and we partnered with the people there at the Davie Senior Center. And so they have a large number of people, 25, 35, 40 people who come there pretty much every day and who sit around, talk, play games, have programs. They have lunch about 11:30 or so, and we ask about partnering with them. And so we've had two there now at the Davie Senior Center, and it's incredible what the responses that we've had. You know, you would think that the seniors might be put off by a conversation about suicide. But here, once that conversation begins, once they understand what we're talking about, you've got a group of people right there who are nothing but lived experience, and every one of them have either had a family member, a friend, they've known someone through the years that have experienced a death by suicide that they've known. But then when it really moves into something powerful is when you've got someone sitting there who's saying, you know, if I'm going to be really honest with you today, I'm struggling with my money. I'm struggling with my health. I can't get the medicine that I need. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. There are times when I think I would rather be gone. I would rather be dead. And you see the movement in that room come alive. There are at least two or three of those ladies that are in that room that you tell they're nurturers, they're caregivers, and immediately they don't wait for one of us or one of our therapists to move to someone like that. They are up and walking around and putting their arms around each other and talking and crying and giving encouraging words and letting them know that they're praying for them. And it's just powerful. It's just an incredible experience to be there with them. We've done two at the senior center now. The one this year was even better than the year before. And then both times we have followed it up with Amber's team doing QPR training, and they love it. They love the question, persuade, refer, so that they, maybe some of them who aren't as in tune with other people and their needs, their hurts, once they hear the QPR training, then they begin to understand how important it is to pay attention to what someone is saying. And if one of their friends may be laughing when they say, yeah, I wish I hadn't woke up this morning, ha ha ha. that may carry a much deeper meaning, especially in that particular group. So even though we don't have the funds to promote a lot of different things around that, we have learned to grab the resources of the people. Davy's an incredible community where people join in and share. We've done it that way, and that's worked really well for us. Also in some other areas, and like in a Forsyth, where we also don't have. There, we partner with the like behavioral health, mental health association. We find other groups that are doing a great work, and our collaborative comes in and joins that. And you got to figure that, like in Davie County, they've never had anything like this. And I doubt they ever would had it not been at the initiation of the collaborative. So it tells you that's an important piece that we play and an important opportunity that we have to promote those kinds of conversations. So that's it for me.
So, Gary, there's been an offer in the chat. Rob Harris says he'd be happy to connect you with more resources in Davie County. So if you do want to get information.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Rob.
Does anybody have any questions for Gary? I will say I love the effort made with the senior center. I was lucky enough to be one of the trainers for the first QPR session, and they had some phenomenal insight, just life experience, and as
Mm-hmm.
Gary said, just lived experience, right? Because they've lived life. And I will also say that there were some really great conversations that happened because if you know a lot about suicide prevention, seniors are at a much higher risk for dying by suicide. So, Gary, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Celeste Graham. Celeste is with Amazing Grace Advocacy, and they're doing some really great work in Cabarrus County. Celeste, would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. I am speaking on behalf of the Cabarrus County Collaborative today. I'm one of the co-chairs. So last year, our collab developed a mental health simulation. So think poverty simulation, but focused more on mental health and dual diagnoses. So the official title was Systems Struggle and Support a Mental Health Journey. And so the simulation highlighted barriers and challenges within all mental health or just the mental health system as a whole. There were, uh, it addressed mental health, substance abuse, and IDD, so that dual diagnoses. There were six scenarios that Amber worked really, really hard to develop that kind of encompassed all of our committees' kind of not frustrations, but knowledge of how difficult it is for families to access services and providers and figure out what to do. And then we had volunteers running different stations. There was like a PCP hospital, LME MCO, a provider, a school, like first responder mobile crisis, a workstation, and then transportation. So we divided all the participants into groups. And so there were a few different groups that had the same scenario, but they kind of all worked their way through it. And it was a bit chaotic. We definitely learned some things from it, but I do think that it was really beneficial and eye-opening to a lot of people. I was a little disappointed in the lack of governmental attendance because we invited all of Cabarrus County's cities and towns, like commissioners and councils and state reps and state senators. There were a few that came, but not very many. And so then following the actual simulation, we had a panel, which was pretty powerful. Kelly Crosby did a quick address, and then we had representation on the panel from Kannapolis City, Cabarrus County schools. There was a parent on there just with her struggles of her kiddo who has disabilities, but also those mental health struggles. And so we really felt like it went well. We definitely are going for round two this year. So we're having our second annual mental health sim in September. This year, the focus is on navigating a mental health crisis and having to figure all of that out. Again, will encompass obviously the mental health, substance abuse, and then also the IDD because we are also seeing an increase in suicides and just kind of struggles, mental health crises with individuals with developmental disabilities. So I'm really excited about this. It's one of my passions, and there's a couple members on here who have participated as well. If you guys have anything to add, but you can see a few pictures of we had resources available. We had name tags with color coded folders, and the people in the picture on the bottom left were holding up cards. We had transportation kind of going around picking people up. So it was really again eye-opening, I think, and I hope for a lot of different people. But
Thank you, Celeste. Does anybody have any questions?
Celeste, was that from a syllabus or something you followed from others, or how much of that was that you created your own?
no, we created that from the ground up.
Wow,
So, yep. It was definitely there were lots of revisions, but it turned out beautifully.
awesome.
Celeste, thank you again. Now we are going to transition to Rob Harris, who's the Executive Director of Restoration Road Ministry, and Janet Watson, and they're going to talk to us about youth learning. Rob, I will hand it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Let me get set up here. All right. So thank you all. Rob Harris with Restoration Road Ministry. We're mostly here in Iredell County, but we do extend out to 7 other counties and have worked across 3 other states as well. So just a quick overview of who we are. We're a 501c3 corporation based here in Iredell. And our ministry is really focused on addiction prevention, recovery, harm reduction, and families affected by such and at-risk children. And we approach this as serving as a catalyst for long-term partner, providing appropriate training, education, wraparound services, ministering to the individuals and family-specific needs. So we're not the case or client worker. We are more of a catalyst to understand what the specific needs are of each individual and bringing the wraparound services such as you all offer to those individuals or families. So I'm going to speak specifically, our Jenna and I are to our LIFT ministry, which is Living in Fellowship and Truth. This is our children's ministry. Partners has been a phenomenal supporter of this ministry over the years. We host it at the Salvation Army here in Statesville. Over the years, Partners has provided us LED safety lighting for the kids to be outdoors in the fall, early spring, and winter. They provided us bots, VR goggles, virtual reality, and drones for technology learning. A lots of activity supplies for the kids. And then lastly, just lately, this last month or so, we just got funded for a community garden for the children. And that's what we're going to speak of today. With that, I'm going to let Miss Janet chime in and speak to what we're doing with the kids.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Good morning, everyone. I'm Janet Watson. I love working with our youth and our children. And this garden project, it's just been a phenomenal kickoff to begin new beginnings with these children. They love exploring, they love discovering. And our team is really unique. Our volunteers all come with lived experience, which makes this very unique and special within itself. So they're all working towards their certifications, either in youth peer support, as well as family partner peer support, which is incredibly important because when you begin making relationships with these children and it spills over into the family, and there is needs there. These families need the support. They need the resources for their children. And that just helps them grow together as a family unit. So our children have grown phenomenally. They've been able to explore and discover many new things. And this vegetable garden is very unique. The master gardeners of Iredell County heard what we were doing and they wanted to become involved, discovered that they actually have an outreach ministry that come into the community as well, and they have programs and resources available for the youth. So now, our master gardeners here are supporting our youth. They come once a month. And here we're learning, and we're doing a project. It's an experiment. The children are learning which mediums that their seeds are going to grow in. And they get to look at the progress of that every week, and see how their seeds are doing. And they are so engaged. They are so curious. They love exploring and discovering. So I'm really happy with this project. That evening, they also got to taste test vegetables grown from a garden, and they were either served cooked or raw. And the children actually got to vote the two vegetables they liked the most. And the two that was the most popular will definitely be, they are going to be planting those seeds in their gardens. So they have a voice, they're discovering. And that's look at the picture of the raised beds right there. Rob did an amazing job picking out that, and it was so easy. The children were able to assemble them, and they had so much fun. And look at the dirt that the children formed in an assembly line to get the dirt into the boxes, and they worked together. So these children are learning their strengths as individuals as well as their strength as a group. And you can see everybody's just working so hard. They enjoyed it, they loved it. So, and most importantly, is if you take a look at that last slide, this is so special to me. This young man, 2 years ago, when I met him and his family, he could only say two to three sentences in a phrase. And now at the end of every Wednesday night, and I ask who wants to pray us out. This young man is the first to raise his hand, and he prays us out. So, it's amazing what this garden project has done. I thank everyone for your support. Salvation Army, provides such a safe environment for all of us to come together to grow and explore and discover. Thank you all for making it happen.
Great, Janet. So Restoration Road is made up of 37 unselfish giving volunteers. So 100% of all of our monies raised, donated, are passed through directly to individuals we serve. So no one on our member list is paid. So we're all 100% completely volunteers. Out of that 100%, 2% goes into our van cost and kind of maintenance of that. But it's the majority of everything that we do goes right to the end user. And I think that's what makes us, very different, that the people that are attracted to us and work with us across all of our ministries, we have five, are all volunteer based, but completely dedicated, and their heart is what is their motivating factor, right? So it's just that it's a cool ministry, and the dedication we have is to our mission is amazing. In fact, and we're guided. We have a CPA, we have a financial overseer, we have a bookkeeper, so we're very well structured. But I also hand out debit cards to our key members, and they spend the money based on the criticality of the need at that time. So we don't have the bureaucracy of going through approvals and check writing. So a lot of other ministries and nonprofits will come to us to help them out to reimburse us as well. So we are, Johnny on the spot when it comes to assisting others in our community. With that, I thank you.
Thank you, Rob and Janet. Janet, I do have a question. Do you know off the top of your head what was the favorite and least favorite vegetable of the young people?
Yes, the two favorites is carrots and broccoli.
Interesting.
So, yeah, and that's what they're planting. And there's others that came close into that, but their least favorite was the baked squash, the roasted squash.
Interesting. Huh.
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions for Rob or Janet?
I just want to say, Amber, thank you so much for asking that question because it was killing me.
I was like, she's gonna say it. She's gonna say it. All right, good work. All right, so next we are going to hear from Jessica Crawford, who is the Injury Prevention Coordinator with Advocate Health and also the Safe Kids Coordinator for Cleveland County.
Hi, everyone. Are you able to see the PowerPoint presentation?
It is still working, but yes, there it is.
Okay, so thank you so much for inviting me. I do serve as the injury prevention coordinator for Atrium Health or Advocate Health in the trauma department. And as part of my role, I serve as the Safe Kids coordinator, which is where we were connected with the Cleveland County Collaborative. And I want to give a huge shout out to Tanya for her help and guidance. Because when I come to her with ideas that are out of the box, she never tells me that I'm crazy. Like she's just always welcoming and encouraging, and I just really appreciate her leadership in that area. But we applied for this grant, and we're so thankful to receive it to help us with our water safety grant like program. What you'll see here, we do have some life jacket stands throughout our community. We recognize that we're wanting to promote healthy physical activity to get people out into the sunshine and to stay healthy, but we were having increased drownings in our community. So we reached out and said, here is an issue. Can we help encourage people to get out? Because we know the benefits of being outdoors and with your community and the positive impacts that that has. But people didn't really know that open water specifically was a danger to them until it was too late. So you'll see some photos here of the police department restocking some of our life jacket stands. This is Lydia and her son, who used to serve years ago on our Safe Kids board, and they had just shown up at the Broad River Greenway, which is a hugely popular area to swim. And she was like, I'm so thankful I forgot a life jacket. And so we're like, can we snap a photo? And he was so excited to be a part of that. But if you guys will just look, I know it's kind of blurry, but on the inside of this life jacket stand, it does have where it's on there, it just says Safe Kids Property. So we asked people to borrow the life jackets and then place them back. And there has been such a huge accountability within the community that people will just say, hey, make sure you put those up, or make sure you clean those so that other people in our area can use them, which is encouraging to see people like them. So here's another picture of some boxes where Melanie had helped to order some of these life jackets and get that situated. These had not yet been painted. That's the funnest part for my staff. They love to help get these painted, like arts and crafts for grown-ups. We also wanted to reach people in our community that weren't necessarily going to rivers, lakes, and ponds, but also pool safety. So these are some tags that we worked with a local printer to print laminated cards. One side that has a designated person. So you are at a pool party, or if you're at the lake or on the boat, it's not the one person every time watching the kids, but you get to share that duty and designate an individual. So we used some of the funding for life jackets, some of these water watcher tags, which have went out all over our county. And we're really excited about that, especially at events to promote water safety. I want to give a shout out to I'm Safe. Jamie Wilmoth is our contact at I'm Safe. If you ever are looking for anybody that you need to purchase really anything prevention wise, they are great people to work with. They're a small mom and pop company that really want to work with you. But in this photo, you'll see that we were able to develop, these are actually our design, and the company now is able to offer them to other folks, but it's literally about life jacket usage and open water safety. So we were able to get some of those brochures, which tells them where the life jacket stands are, why it's important to use a life jacket, and different things like that. But I really highly encourage you to look at this website. Sometimes they offer free things and templates that you could just use, but they're wonderful. If you need something customized, they'll help you do that as well. Okay, and then the last slide I have here is just to show you like how widely this has been received. This is from the Cleveland County Government's Facebook page. I didn't even know they were going to post this yesterday, but I thought that the timing was perfect. So they're just promoted everywhere. So we have life jacket stands. You see it says Bowling Springs. There are actually 3 stations at the Broad River Greenway. We have 2 at Moss Lake and 1 at the Stagecoach Greenway. And the life jackets that you guys helped to fund and helped us to get these for are saving lives and encouraging people to get out and to stay healthy and active. And these QR codes are we have some stands, some signs, it's like yard signs that they can take this QR code and just help us get some information about have they been aware of these life jacket stands? And then the other one is for event usage so that we can kind of capture the needs and what we hope to get out of this program. That was short and sweet, but that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica. Does anybody have any questions?
Jessica, I was trying to see on the slide and I didn't get it. It's in contact information for I'm Safe.
Yes, I will post it in the chat box.
Great, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. There is lots of good work happening. All right. So our last guest speaker is Melanie Renault. She is the System of Care High Fidelity Wraparound Liaison here at Partners, and she's going to talk to you all a little bit about another project that's happening. So Melanie.
So, Jessica, thank you so much for sharing. Sometimes I purchase thousands of dollars of things like life jackets or other supplies, and I don't necessarily get to see what happens or what it looks like in the community. So I really do enjoy seeing it. I think one of the best things about my position with Partners Health Management is that I get to participate or be part of and aware of a lot of the different projects that are going out around in our community. And so I work on a SAMHSA grant through the state. It is a System of Care High Fidelity WRAP expansion grant. And part of that grant, we have mini grants within it where each county can, collaborative, can apply for up to $3,000 to do any type of project. And so one of the projects that they've done in Union County, oh, hold on. Jessica, can you unshare for a second? Thank you. Okay, so Union County, get back over to Union County did a project with Transforming Youth Movement and Support Incorporated. I'm trying to move. Did it move to the Union? Oh, there it is. Okay. So Union County did a wellness to career exploration. And so this is where youth were able to come out to the community. They worked on their mental wellness. They talked about, the importance of using the coping skills that they've learned. They've learned some new coping skills. And then they also got to do some career exploration with virtual reality where they could pick a job that they were interested in, and then they could go through the motions of that job virtually. And then they also were they were given like a budget. And they said, okay, this is what your job, this is how much money you make, this is your rent. And then they had this wheel where they got to spin it, and there was a unexpected life event. Sometimes they hit the none and they didn't have to come up with some extra money. But they would find themselves in a situation and they would have to problem solve as to where the money was going to come from. Like, was there something that couldn't get paid, or is there something that they could pay later? They had to really sort of problem solve, some real life experiences with that. And we had asked Transforming Youth Movement to do this one. They had actually done this one in 2025 in Mecklenburg County, and Support Incorporated also was there with them at this event and stuff too. I volunteered at that event. Reggie just had asked me to come check it out. I went to go check it out and I stayed to volunteer for the whole event. I loved it. I had such a good time. And I said, what do you think about doing this for one of the collaborative projects in our community? And so we already completed the one in Union County this year. And then they will also be doing it in Cabarrus County as well. So we have, I believe, a planning meeting tomorrow on it. But I will let you hear from Reggie as to how it impacted his organization and how the community was able to collaborate together.
Hello, and thanks so much for an opportunity to share. My name is Reggie McNeil. I'm Executive Director and founder of Transforming Youth Movement, Inc. And we were fortunate to, in 2025, received the high fidelity expansion grant through System of Care in Mecklenburg County through Alliance and was really blessed by the experience. God gave an opportunity for our young people to elevate their voice in the space of wellness, all things how to regulate their nervous system and share from a perspective of their own, created a platform for open dialogue in addition to moving into from a wellness standpoint to career and exploration, a platform that allows for young people to understand what their potential interests are in a particular career, and then also from there utilizing technology, understand what it might look like to work in that field of service. So fortunate for the grants that allowed that opportunity, in particular the collaboration that was shared actually between Alliance and then partners because they were there in the space back in 2025. The relationships and the collaboration in that space allowed for two MCOs to be in there, both Alliance and partners then after the experience that we did in the workshop in Mecklenburg County ultimately granted us, through their system of care, the opportunity to put on the same workshop experience in Union County. Again, it's allowed for us to get technology, immerse XR equipment, the hyper skills that again allows young people to experience what career might look like in a workforce prior to going into the space. It also allowed for us to tie that to our assessment tools that can define or help define youth interest in what they may aspire to do in a particular work experience. But really appreciative of the relationships, the fact that Alliance granted us the grant in 2025 through Mecklenburg County System of Care, followed by a partner in the System of Care collaboration in Union County. Really excited about the potential of working with them further. But this has been a great opportunity for us to grow in that space and really appreciative for the grants. Thanks so much and God bless.
And so from that event, one of the things that, we got an opportunity to do was talk to a lot of youth. And so the youth, some of the things that we're hearing from them is they want to put some more attention on, mental wellness. And, they were asking like, well, why can't we have an assembly in school during, mental health month? And the school board here is just not for it. And so they want to talk about it. They want to let everybody know that it's okay to have these conversations. So one of the things we're going to be doing in September with the youth in Union County, with them sort of leading the way on a project, which I'm so excited about. I actually was up until um, 2 o'clock this morning working on some of the stuff for them. So they are planning a Glow Together, a youth and family mental wellness experience. And so we started talking about different things that they wanted to do. And one of the things that they were insistent on having like a bonfire and campfire. And Parks and Rec, I'm like, how do you do this in the middle of town? And Parks and Rec's like, we got you, we'll figure it out. And we'll work with the fire department. The fire department is willing to, work with it because this is what the kids want. We talked about music. Do you prefer live music? Do you prefer DJs? Why can't we make our own music? Music therapy. Like, you guys are brilliant. So we started asking them questions, giving them prompts, and they started putting together this amazing event that's going to be happening in September. So you can see all of the things on the bottom that they are doing. And then we decided that it's not just about the youth. We also need parents to have the skills to be able to support families or support their youth in their journey through, with their mental health. And so we are doing the youth will have their separate workshops. They have about 5 workshops that they'll be rotating through. And then we're also doing a keynote speaker, a panel for the parents, and then they will also have 5 workshops, and talking about ways to communicate with their youth, how important their own self-care is. So we will do some guided meditation and some different things with them as well, some fun stuff. We will have a separate space for the parents to have discussions on different topics, and then they will have like prompts like, hey, like talking about like whether it's social media or what does it look like in your home when you put expectations in place or the structure. And so they will be able to connect with each other in a place just for the adults. Everybody will come together for dinner, and then everybody will come together in the evening for the bonfire to do a reflection on um, what I want to take with me today and what I can leave behind. So if you came in and you had fear, you didn't, you were anxious about the situation, you can decide to write that down on a piece of paper and put it in the bonfire to let that go for the day. The other thing we're also doing is working with a local artist to have a very large canvas mural that can be mobilized throughout the community, and all of the kids will be expected when they come in to write a positive characteristic trait, or something about themselves that is positive, so that we can share that with other community members and say, we talk a lot about the different things that the youth today, like with the crime increasing or different things like that, but we don't really focus on their positive attributes. So this will allow for this to go to a school event, or to something that's happening at the courthouse or a council meeting or some type of youth summit. Like, it just can, anybody who wants to borrow the mural for their event, they will have this event with all of the positive characteristics on our trait positive characteristic traits on the youth in our community. So very excited about this, and a number of collaborative members are working on this with the youth and volunteering for this event.
That's awesome. Thank you, Melanie, for sharing all that. Does anybody have any questions?
Hi, I'm Sade. I do. I just joined in. I'm sorry. So how could someone be a part of this event, any capacity, bring sponsors, different type of things like that, in any capacity?
If anybody is interested in volunteering or being on the committee, we're still planning, you are more than welcome to reach out to me at my email. I can also put in my work number for you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I also want to remind everybody with the collaboratives that there is another cycle coming up. The applications will be due at the end of September. Again, it will be for you can request up to $3,000, and then that money can go to whatever event. So like whether it's like the mental health simulation, it's the like the Transforming Youth did the wellness and youth workshops. They also do calming spaces at the schools. Like some of the schools were lacking that safe space or a place for kids to calm down. It is wide open, and I am happy to work with any collaborative or any organization that would like to approach the collaborative on receiving those funds of up to $3,000. Just reach out to me, and I am happy to let you know kind of what is needed and work with your system of care coordinator to look into applying for that funding. So at this point, this might be the last year. The funds can be used from November 1st through October of next year.
I do have a question. Melanie, so you said next year you guys are already planning in the planning stages of doing this again next year?
So the grant is a 4-year grant, and we'll be starting year 4 in October. So since it's a federal grant, the federal fiscal year does not align with the state's fiscal year. And so our grant will start, we get like 2 allocation letters a year. And so we are, during allocation from the state, we get $3,000 for all 15 of our counties. Now we will get 3,000 for all of the counties, including the ones when we merge with VIA. So every collaborative every county that has a collaborative is eligible to request those funds. We also work with Complex Systems Innovations out of Dr. Walby's out of Florida, and his team is all over the country, but they will also help prepare those applications if somebody wants assistance with that. And so if you feel like the application process or one of those things is sort of like a barrier to applying for those funds, we do have supports in place to help apply for it and take some of that piece off of it. But this will, so yes, the end of September, I believe they will be approved there's different, like you have to attend a session with the state to like, kind of like on the rules and things like that if you want to apply. And then, or actually, your system of care coordinator will have to attend that.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Um, the glow,
yes.
that right there, this is something that's really needed, for our families
Yep.
and youth in this area because it connects the families as well as the youth. And because our families, indeed, they are the ones that really need that support. When they have a family and there is so many needs, that haven't been met, with their children. And so providing resources for those families, for their children. It's incredibly important. And it's a need that I see that is needed here where I'm serving in Iredell County. And I'd really like to expand that and that that that's a great project. So I'd really like to hear more about that in itself.
And I am happy to, if that is something that you want to do, we're going through the major planning of it right now. I am happy to share all of
Thank
the
you.
information on the workshops that we're going to be offering for the youth and for the parents or the caregivers. And one of them, I liked your activity with the plants with the youth, and that is one of our workshops. They will be making growing some little micro greens. So we've got somebody who's willing to donate them, and then he's also mixing something into the soil to help it glow. Just to kind of fit in with our theme. And so everybody in the community has been unbelievably helpful and wanting to participate and has wonderful ideas. And I am happy to share them with anybody who would like to recreate this anywhere else in the state. I just feel it's not just to say it's mine, it's to share it with everybody. I think everybody.
Yes. Thank
Mhm.
you, Melanie.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else have any questions for Melanie or any of our other speakers today?
Oh, I'm sorry, I do. I'm sorry, I caught the tail end of everything because I woke up late and I jumped up and I seen it was on the Zoom. So, just to get information about with you what you all doing, because we kind of had partnered with the Irwin Center in Gastonia, and like different rec centers and like the city parks, and so we primarily work with a lot of underprivileged communities, and kids, with different races and different things like that, and so one of the things that I've kind of dissected, and I think that you guys, it may be something familiar you got that you guys look into, but with the day support services, like everything that is happening with the event, I do want to get more information about that. I know she probably don't want to repeat herself, but the with the social emotional learning, like play therapy, dance therapy, the art therapy, we've come to find out like those things can absolutely be billable. So like if they're in like different counties. Something that we have been looking into are the day support services. Even with doing the targeted case management or different things like that. A lot of kids are gradually, because I'm autistic and I'm high spectrum a little bit, so even with communicating or doing different activities, sometimes they get overly stimulated and they don't know why they're getting overly stimulated. But so we started doing like music therapy, art therapy, sports SEL, like even with the activities. And so I know for myself, that's a population that I love working with are the kids. So I know I would like to and be involved if possible. And it's not even about the money. I just want to have like different opportunities to show like different things, even with the culinary arts, and different things like that. So any way that I could help, and resources that we do have. And then we have like Mountain View, and Highland Hills and Gastonia, which are the biggest Section 8 housing authorities. And so we have a lot of those kids. It's just so any way that we can help. I didn't catch the whole spiel, but I can help in any capacity in any way.
Thank you. Are you connected to your local community collaborative?
So no, I'm kind of new with this. So what would that be if I could get information? Is that like theaters or something, our person specialist with?
Yeah, if you'll email that email link that I just put in the chat's community engagement department at partnersbhm.org, and tell us a little bit about what county you serve, where you are, and then we can get you connected to that local collaborative. And I think that'd be a great place to start having some of these conversations if they're not already.
Amber, I think she mentioned it was Gastonia, so that's Tanya. Tanya may be able to put her.
Yes, I can put my email in the chat, and if you want to email me, and then we can connect about the Gaston Community Collaborative.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, thank you again. There are lots of contact information, email addresses in the chat if you would like to reach out to someone. And again, if you're not connected, excuse me, to your local community collaborative, you can send an email to community engagement department at partnersbhm.org. As you can tell, there's lots of really great things happening across Partners 15 counties currently, and they are really establishing safe and helpful social determinants of health in order for people to thrive and whatever thriving looks like in their life. So just know that that's happening across the catchment, and we would be willing and able to help with initiating some more, having some more initiatives across the catchment that also help support those things. So if you have any ideas or anything like that, please reach out. And I'm going to pass it over to Jeannie, who's going to talk a little bit about next month.
So before we close, I was wondering, we have a couple of minutes. Jerry, can you very quickly tell us what's happening in some of your collaboratives before we
Yeah,
go?
thank you. I just want to bring up one thing that happened. And as we know, persons that live near or at poverty, the world's a lot different for what's going on, and the struggles impact them greatly. We had a conversation in the three collaboratives that I support, and we are blessed to have funding through the counties. And after the discussion, we decided to purchase the poverty simulator kit, which is not inexpensive. It's about $5,000, but the collaboratives all felt this was important to do. And Surrey did the first one, and it had a wonderful turnout. Then Yadkin County did the second one, and Iredell did the last one, and all of them had great success. And they were community events, and it takes a lot of people to make these work. And these are things we've now transitioned, and Amber's team is now managing those. So if there's need to do the poverty simulator across our counties, we can bring this to you. We've got to have a minimum of about 30 plus participants, and it takes at least 18 volunteers to make it happen. But the struggles are real, and the more we can get these out to the community, the better. And when I say community, I'm talking elected officials, municipality leadership, county leadership, your business and industry, to make sure they're coming to these events. But if there's interest, you can get in touch with our training department. I think Amber put her information in, and we can bring this to your community and work with your civic group, your organization, work with local Rotaries to help you put these on, because it's a wonderful opportunity and very much needed. Thank you for that time, Jeannie.
Great. Thank you so much, Jerry, for sharing that and for sharing the poverty simulation. It is very impactful. So we encourage you to do that if you want to. So as we wind up, first of all, thank you very much for being here today. And I love, we talk about collaboratives, and we saw a lot of collaboration across county lines today too. I think that's awesome that we all can see benefits and help to improve our communities. So next month, August 26th, the fourth Wednesday in August, at 10 o'clock, we'll be back. And by that time, our young people will probably all be back in school. And so it's a great time to talk about, the title is Click Smart, Learn Safe. And it's about online safety and internet habits and learning, helping children learn healthy boundaries. So please come back and we'll have another great discussion about online safety for our kids. And thank you so much for being here today.